Hey there, Al Perhacs, author, creator, visionary behind the Mind Force method of high performance coaching and mentoring. And I wanted to do this impromptu video because I've gotten a lot of questions over the last couple days in regards to number one, the up-level control system, which you see here on the screen. And then one of the things is, how do you create these videos where you look like you're in a studio, you are in a studio? Well, you'll notice that my background right now is my wall in my office. It has my books on the wall. And usually when I do it, I'll have a green screen. Today I didn't put up the green screen. I decided to go au naturel, so to speak. But when you coach or mentor with me, I'm going to show you exactly, if you so desire, how to create this studio effect so that you can brand yourself, your business, your coaching, whatever you do. That's what I do when I coach with people, is I give you the tools, I give you the methods, you get all of it. But let me get into something that I think is extremely important that you understand. And regardless of whether you ever want to invest in coaching, and you should invest in coaching, whether it's with me or someone else, you need to understand these principles. And the principles I'm going to give you, trust me, this is going to allow you to become much more effective, without a doubt. And I'm giving it to you free because I want you to know it. Now, some of you may see it, but how many of you will actually apply it? And it comes down to this, and I'm just going to put up here, up level, 12 weeks. You can get a lot done in 12 weeks. And you'll notice that I've broken down the 12 weeks into bite sizes that you can do. What's the whole idea? Is transformation, right? So how do you get a transformation? How do you get a breakthrough? How does this work? What's most effective? And so forth. That makes sense, right? So let me explain something to you. So number one is, let's talk about learning. How you learn and become effective at something. Learning. Okay? We learn three different ways. We learn visually. We learn auditorily. Well, I'll just put auditory, right? So visual, auditory. And then the last is kinesthetic. Hope I spelled that right, but it doesn't matter. Spelling doesn't matter in the scope of things. I can always spell check when I'm on my computer. Here's the thing. This is why kids aren't learning these days, is because it's almost all auditory. Auditory learning is at about a 10% learning rate. Like, for instance, I listen to a lot of books on tape, audibles. I always listen to different types of techniques and strategies. Here's what I find, though. If I go through a book one time auditorily, I retain very little. Now, if I continually go through it in my mind and listen to it, like, for instance, I just finished up an amazing book on audio, and it was 15 hours long. That's a long time. How do you retain 15 hours? It's almost impossible. And the same thing's true with what I teach. It's almost impossible to get the concepts down. Almost impossible, because you're not able to retain. Now, when you add the visual component to it, it goes up to about another 20%. Goes up to another 20%. So these two are about a 30%. Now, obviously, there's certain people that are going to retain better than others, but that's what you're looking at. So when you do visual and auditory, you're getting a pretty good level of learning. 40% is high in this case. And then the last, kinesthetic, 90% of people will get it when it's kinesthetic, whatever the concept is. So, for example, as I'm teaching people martial arts, It's always better when I'm hands-on with them. And even when I'm teaching concepts, I was coaching several people this week, and we get on a Zoom call, and I'm able to show them the technique. I'm able to show them the nuance of the meditation, the nuance of the structure of the energy. And they go, oh my God, that makes sense, because they've been watching it on video, visual. They've been reading about it, visual. They've heard auditory as I'm going through it. But when we go through it live, even if it's on a Zoom call, obviously the best type of learning is hands-on, face-to-face. The next best is video, Zoom. That's how I conduct my coaching. That's the benefit you're going to get when you coach with me, is that hands-on. So a lot of times people say, I don't want to invest the money in a coach, in a mentor, because I can read it in books, I can listen to it, which is true, you can. However, you're going to lose the effectiveness of the learning unless you add the kinesthetic aspect into it. So the example is this: you watch a YouTube video and you just watch it and you listen to it, but you don't apply it. Okay, you don't put in the flight time. Flight time, I always talk about. You got to put in flight time. That flight time with an instructor is even better. So if I watch a YouTube video, like for instance, I was watching a YouTube video on how to make something inside of my Instapot, right? Watching it, listening to it's one thing, but it wouldn't mean anything to me if I didn't actually have that video in front of my Instapot and I'm going through the steps, step by step, and going through it and getting it done. Now, if somebody was in my kitchen and showing me, it would even be exponentially more successful than if it wasn't in my kitchen. You understand? So the flight time aspect of your learning is important. There's a repetition in learning. Reps. You've got to put in the reps. You've got to put the flight time, and you've got to put in the right number of reps. If you don't put it in the flight time and you don't put in the right number of reps, you will not get the results. Now, there are some people that, like for instance, my wife has a photographic memory, which means you can tell her something once or twice and she retains it. I mean, she's one of the only people I know that actually knows her entire driver's license number. She can get pulled over, which she rarely does. She gets out of every ticket also, but she can tell the police officer what her driver's license number is, like that. I can't do that. But some people can. But what we're doing is, I want the learning. And again, this is coming from a status. I'm saying to you, listen, here's how you learn. If you really want to get something ingrained into your system, this is how you have the best chance of getting it done versus a crapshoot, right? You're rolling the dice and you're hoping you're going to get it. And some of you have spent thousands of dollars on courses, books, seminars, whatnot, and you've had very little retention. You've had very little nuance to it. You haven't gotten the results you wanted because you didn't have a coach or a mentor to step you through and say, oh, it's not exactly that way. We need to do it more this way, right? Makes sense. Makes sense. But let me share with you something. And what you're looking at as far as an investment, right? A lot of times people say, I think the coaching is, I can't afford it. And it's all comes down to perspective. I always use, many of my clients are, I would say, high performance, high income earners. And so for them to pay me the coaching fees it's nothing. It's a drop in a bucket. But there's a lot of other people that it's a lot of money. So how do I break my coaching down? Very simple. You want an hour of my time? An hour is going to cost you $700. So I do what I call a power call. Somebody wants to do a power call with me. I do an hour. Usually it goes longer. $700 for a power hour. And those concepts are usually with business owners that say to me, listen, I want to hire you for a power hour, and I want to go through my whole business matrix, and let's come up with some kind of solution. The other way you can coach with me is I call it 12-week up level, and that's 4,800 times 4 quarters, $19,200. That's weekly coaching. Every week we're talking and we're going through the plan, the matrix, everything like that. So you're talking $19,200. Now, some of you say, well, that seems like a lot of money. It does, right? But it depends on the outcome, the outcome-based coaching, the outcome. What is the outcome? When I can help a business owner go from $40K a month in revenue, or not even revenue, in actual earnings to $105K, is it worth $19,200? Of course it is, right? Because he just went from $500,000 to $1 million like that. Not like that, maybe, but you get the point, right? So you have to look at it from that perspective, because many of you have said to me, hey, I love the idea of your coaching, but it just seems out of the realm. So here's where you got to look at it. So anyway, those are my higher end programs. So let's look at what I've been offering the last couple of days with the 12 weeks. So the 12-week immersion is 12 weeks. If you want to do it yourself, DIY, it's $997. Very simple. If you want to do it with me, which I recommend if you really want to get the results, monthly is $499. So it's about $500 more than the DIY because you're paying, but you're getting me. And again, we're going to exponentially take your results to the stratosphere when you work directly with me. You're going to get 3 or 4 calls during that 12 weeks. It's going to exponentially cause you unbelievable, unlimited growth. Okay? I hate to use the word unbelievable. Sometimes I say it because it's not unbelievable. Or you can hire me yearly at $3,200, which essentially brings your monthly cost to $267. What are the guarantees there? Very simple guarantee. You get the results that we set for you. You get all of the concepts, the tools, the mindset, the mindset, the mission, and the moves. You get those moves to work, or I pay you $1,000. $1,000. Plus you get your money back, whatever you paid into this. But you got to do all the moves. But I know that if you do all the moves, you get the results because it's never failed. So you can't get a better guarantee than that. Now, it depends what you want as far as your outcome. But $3,200 a year is a worthwhile investment if we can take you from zero to hero. Do you want to be a hero, or do you want to be a zero? Now, I'm not saying that you're a zero, but oftentimes when you go from where you're at to where you want to be, you are at 0 point. You're at 0 level. And then you're going to go to that next best level. That's how we're going to do it. You could do it monthly, and you can go through the 12 weeks, $499 a month. You get me, and at the end of the 12 weeks, you can decide to not do any more coaching. What I find, most people will get such growth in that 12 weeks that they continue coaching. And again, this is all personal choice by you, not by me. And it's really, what can you do? What do you want to do, right? I've had people pay me this because they wanted to get in the very best shape of their life. And we took them over the first 12 weeks. We built the habits. And over the next 9 months, we maintained it. Business, job, career, relationships, anything can fit in this bucket. Why is that? Because I've put together a system that covers all basic areas of what you need to develop. I call it emotional, financial, and physical, right? Physical being the energy, but everything drops down from there. And then I've got a 6-cylinder system, which covers the energy, which covers focus, awareness, sensitivity, manifestation, healing, and mindset domination. With all of those elements, you can achieve anything in your life because that's the elements of power. Maybe I should start calling it the elements of power. It sounds pretty cool, doesn't it? But anyway, I wanted to share that with you because it's so important you understand these concepts of how you learn. Because a lot of times people, they don't get it because they'll buy a course or something. And the biggest thing is I've got the Mind Force library, which is phenomenal. The Mind Force library is one of the best products I've ever had in my life. Right? The Mind Force library. And it's been one of those things that has been bestsellers. The biggest downside to that is people, they don't actually do what's in the books. They don't, and the reason they don't is because they get distracted by other shiny objects, right? They start on a pathway and then they go, oh, there's another thing over here. I need to jump into that. And so they're never planting their feet to get the results that they really should get because they're constantly in this state of new. And oftentimes you're not, like I said, you're not getting that continuity. You're not putting in the reps and the flight time that you should be. That's what happens. That's the way it goes. I really want you to understand that. That's how it works. So how do you get that to work better? Is you get a coach that is designed, when you work with a coach, I give you the structure. This is what we need to do. This is what I expect of you. So there's accountability there. We're building a relationship. So there's a trust factor there. I trust you, you trust me. And we begin to form a bond that is powerful. And even if we only coach for 12 weeks, we're still creating a bond. I create a bond with somebody when I do the 1 hour power hour. Oftentimes people will do the power hour for $700 and they'll come back and say, hey, what do I need to do to do this more often? Some people will hire me as their coach and mentor, and they want it twice a week, Mondays and Fridays. And Mondays is the plan, and Fridays is the review. And we do it twice a week. And you can imagine that's, a lot more money than even the $19,200. And there's even more than that because it's personal. Some people say, I want you in my office. I want you to come visit with me. I want to spend 2 days with you and I want to go through everything. That's what it is. So I want you to think about it. I wanted you to understand this learning concept so that you can understand that you're going to get benefits of learning when you incorporate the 3 visual, auditory, kinesthetic modalities into your learning system. And the kinesthetic is the hands-on, where you and I work together. And again, it's not you getting the results like when you do it yourself. It's we are getting the results. I am assisting you to get to where you want to go. I've appreciated all the feedback that you guys have given me. Oh, by the way, the seating is limited for the coaching. So once I get to the amount that I need, as far as, that's going to actually take up my time, I have to cut it off. So anyway, do your best due diligence. If you want to touch base with me, set up a call and we can go over it. A lot of, I would say this week, I probably got several calls of people that signed up for coaching because they were like, I need to talk about a little more about how this is going to benefit me. And that's really the truth. What do you want as your outcome? Let's put together a game plan and get you the results that you desire for your future, for your family's future. And, it's going to be a great experience for you. Anyway, thanks for watching and have a fantastic day. So long.